Senator Waters.
Thanks, Mr President. My question is to the Minister representing the Prime Minister, Senator Evans, regarding the scope of the handover of federal environmental responsibilities under the COAG deal. Minister, there's considerable confusion about what environment powers the federal government is preparing to hand to the states. In estimates, the government confirmed that everything was up for grabs, that officers in PM&C were drafting standards for all matters of national environmental significance to enable a handoff to the states of federal approval powers. However, this week the Environment Minister told one of my colleagues that nuclear activities would be retained by the feds. The Minister and the Department are saying different things. Which is the truth? Which matters of national environmental significance is the government currently preparing to hand to the states to administer?
Minister representing the Prime Minister, Senator Evans.
Thank you, Mr President. Mr President, I thank Senator Waters for the question, but I have to indicate I don't have a detailed brief on that question. Most of them go to the environmental portfolio, which I don't represent in this chamber. I accept, as representing the Prime Minister, I have to have a broad grasp of many issues, and sometimes I fail in having a broad enough grasp. But in terms of the details that you seek, I'll have to take those aspects on notice and ask for probably for the Environment Minister to provide an update to the information you were given during the estimates processes, and I'm sure he'll be able to get to that to me quickly.
Senator Waters.
Thank you, Minister. Yes, it is officials in the PM&C department that are actually doing the drafting, so thank you for taking that on notice. A supplementary question. The April COAG agreement for the feds to hand off their powers to the states followed intense lobbying by big business. How many times has the Minister or the department met with the business community about the design of our environmental laws? And why is the government letting big business write its environmental laws?
The Minister. The Minister.
Well, if the question is about whether I've met with business, the Minister, I met with them this morning. If it's about the Environmental Minister, Minister for the Environment, I'll have to take that on notice. But I do reject the suggestion that environmental policy has been developed by responding to some directive by what you refer to as big business. As I understand it, the COAG agreement is to negotiate approved bilateral agreements to provided environmental standards can be met. We're prepared to consider accrediting states to approve all matters of national environmental significance except uranium mining. Consistent with the COAG communique, Commonwealth will work in the context of bilateral discussions. As I say, in terms of the detail you've asked for, Mr President, I'll get an answer from the Minister in response.
Senator Waters.
Thanks, President, and thank you, Minister. You answered my first question, so that was helpful. A second supplementary. Why does the government think the states are up to the job if they haven't assessed the capacity of the states to administer the federal government's environment responsibilities, they haven't considered the states' poor history on environmental matters, and they haven't considered the recent job cuts in state environment departments, particularly Queensland?
The Minister.
Mr President, well, clearly any negotiations with the states would be undertaken based on standards which the Commonwealth would require, which obviously relate to statutory requirement and the Minister's satisfaction. So I understand some draft standards are being prepared, but clearly it would be on the basis that the Commonwealth was satisfied with the arrangements that be put in place. But as I say, I'm happy to take the detail of the question on notice and get a full response for the Minister for the Environment.